The sky above Earth was quiet. The stars looked peaceful, shining like tiny lights in the dark night. On a small space station just outside Earth's orbit, a young woman named Alara sat in front of a large screen. Her job was simple: watch the stars and listen for any signals from deep space. Alara was calm and focused. She had done this job for 2 years. Most days nothing happened, but she liked it. She liked the silence, the peace, and the feeling that she might be the first to discover something important. Then, one night, her screen blinked. A soft beep followed. Alara leaned forward. A strange signal was coming in. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't from any human ship either. She quickly pressed a few buttons and ran the signal through the computer. It wasn't random noise. It was a message. A real message from space. She stood up and called her supervisor, Commander Reed. "Sir, I think we just received a message," she said. Commander Reed arrived within minutes. He looked at the signal carefully. It was written in a language no human had ever seen, but it followed patterns, repeated shapes, and tones. "This is not natural," Commander Reed said. "Someone is trying to talk to us." Alara and her team worked day and night to decode the message. After 2 days, they found the first few words. The message said, "Help, we are running. Please, we beg you." It was short but clear. Someone out there needed help. Alara felt a chill in her chest. Who were they? What were they running from? The signal came from a star system about 30 light-years away. It wasn't close, but it wasn't too far either. The Earth Council was informed. Leaders from every country joined the conversation. Some wanted to ignore the message. Others wanted to help. Why should we risk our people? One leader asked, "Because we were once helpless too," another replied. "What if they are peaceful? What if they just need safety?" After many hours of talks, Earth made a decision. They would send one ship, just one. It would be fast, small, and carry a team of experts. Their mission was to find the source of the message and learn more. Alara was chosen to be part of the team. She had found the signal, and she had helped translate most of it. Now, she would meet the ones who sent it. The ship was called the Hope Seeker. It was the fastest ship Earth had ever made. It used new gravity engines, created only a year ago. The engines could bend space, making travel faster than ever before. On launch day, people across the world watched. Children held their parents' hands. Scientists stood in silence. The ship slowly lifted into the sky, then disappeared into the stars. Alara sat inside the ship, looking out the window. She thought about the message, about the words, "We beg you." They sounded so sad, so tired. "Whoever they are," she whispered, "I hope we're not too late." Captain Harrow, the leader of the mission, stood beside her. He was kind but serious. "Stay ready," he told her. "First contact is always the most important. You must show them who we are, calm, kind, and human." Days passed, then weeks. The stars changed. The ship moved faster than anyone on Earth could imagine. One day, Lara saw something outside the window, a distant blue planet. The computers confirmed it. This was the source of the message. As they got closer, they saw signs of destruction, but not recent. Old structures floated in space, broken and quiet. No heat, no signals. The team grew quiet. Was it too late? Then the signal appeared again, stronger this time, and a new message came through. "You came. Please, we are still here." The crew looked at each other. Alara smiled. "They're alive." Captain Harrow nodded. "Then let's show them who we are." The ship moved into orbit, and slowly, a small shape appeared near the planet's surface. A ship. It's much older and weaker than theirs, rising slowly to meet them. Alara's heart beat faster. She was about to meet someone not from Earth, not from any human colony, but someone who trusted humans enough to ask for help. The meeting was about to begin. The alien ship moved slowly through space. It was round and silver, with strange lights blinking on its surface. It looked old, like it had been through many hard times. Parts of it were damaged, but it was still flying just enough to reach them. Alara stood near the window of the Hope Seeker, watching in silence. Her hands were shaking a little. She had spent years looking at stars, but now she was about to meet someone who lived among them. "Are you ready?" Captain Harrow asked, stepping beside her. She nodded. "I think." So, the two ships came closer, and the communication systems lit up. A voice soft and full of emotion spoke through the speakers. The words were slow but clear, using the patterns Alara and her team had decoded earlier. "We greet the ones who answered. You are the first. We are thankful." Lara leaned forward and spoke gently into the microphone. "We are humans. We received your message. We came to help." There was a short silence. Then the voice replied, "We are the Valari. Our home is gone." We ran. "You are our last hope." Captain Harrow gave a small signal. "Permission to dock granted," he said. The Valari ship moved toward the Hope Seeker, and docking arms slowly reached out to connect the two. When the seal was complete, everyone paused for a moment. This was history, humans and aliens meeting for the first time. Lara, Captain Harrow, and two scientists walked to the docking bay. The door opened with a soft hiss. Lights flickered, and then a figure stepped through. The Valari were not frightening. The one standing before them was tall and thin, with smooth blue skin and large black eyes. It wore a simple robe and held its hands out peacefully. "I am Sarah," it said. "I speak for my people." Captain Harrow stepped forward and nodded. "I am Harrow. Welcome." Sarah looked around with gentle eyes. "Your ship is strong. Your hearts are kind. We feared no one would hear us." Alara smiled. "We heard you, and we came." Sarah was taken to the meeting room where the humans offered food and water. The Valari did not eat the food, but they thanked the humans politely. Sarah explained what had happened. "Our world was once bright," Sarah said. "We lived in peace. Then came a power, silent, cold, and without voice. It took the light from our skies. It took our sun." The humans listened closely. "We tried to run," Sarah continued. "Only a few ships survived. We sent messages in all directions. Only you answered." Lara felt a deep sadness in her chest. She imagined Earth losing its sun, its people floating in space, searching for a friend. "You are not alone anymore," she said softly. "You have us." Sarah placed a hand over his heart. "That gives us peace." The Valari ship had about 50 survivors, most of them weak or resting in sleep chambers. Their food supplies were almost gone, and their systems were breaking down. The Hope Seeker's crew immediately started helping. They shared medicine, clean water, and energy cells. While helping, one of the scientists, Dr. Lian, noticed something strange. "Lara," she said, pointing at a screen, "this ship's power readings are unstable. If we don't fix this, their systems might fail soon." Lara and Dr. Lian worked with Valari engineers. Even though their tools were different, they found ways to understand each other. One of the young Valari, named Tenna, smiled and said, "We think in different shapes, but our hearts beat the same." It made Lara smile. She felt close to them already, like they were distant cousins, lost, but now found. Meanwhile, Earth received updates from the Hope Seeker. News of the Valari spread quickly. Many people were amazed. Some were afraid, but most felt proud that humanity had become a light in someone else's darkness. On the ship, things moved fast. New friendships grew. Humans learned Valari words, and the Valari listened to human music. Alara showed Sarah a small plant she kept in her room. "It's called a sunflower," she said. "It turns toward the light, even when the sky is cloudy." Sarah touched the plant gently. "Then we must be like this flower." By the end of the week, repairs were almost complete. So the Valari ship could now travel safely again, but they had no home, no planet to return to. Captain Harrow called a meeting. "They need a place to stay," he said. "Can't leave them drifting in space." Lara spoke up. "There's a small Earth colony on New Arcadia. It has space, good weather. Maybe they can live there." Sarah looked hopeful. "We do not need much. Just peace. Just sky." The team agreed. They would guide the Valari to New Arcadia. As the ships moved together side by side, Ilara looked out at the stars. She thought about how one small signal had brought two worlds together. She thought about how sometimes help comes not from power, but from kindness. And deep in her heart, she knew this was only the beginning. The two ships flew together through the quiet space between stars. The Hope Seeker stayed close to the Valari ship, watching its systems and guiding its path. They were now headed toward a planet called New Arcadia, a human colony known for peace. An open land. Ilara stood on the bridge of the Hope Seeker, watching the stars slowly move past the windows. She felt hopeful. The Valari were kind and gentle. Their stories were full of sadness, but they never asked for much. All they wanted was a safe place to live. Captain Harrow walked beside her. "You've done good work," he said. Ilara smiled softly. "They trust us. I just hope others will too." As they moved through space, Ilara spent more time with Sira and the other Valari. They learned simple Earth words. Ilara also learned how to speak a few Valari phrases. She found their language peaceful, full of soft sounds and smooth meanings. One day, as the ships floated near a small gas cloud, the Valari ship suddenly shook. Lights blinked, and a deep hum filled the air. Ilara rushed to the control room. Captain Harrow and Dr. Leanne were already checking the screens. "What's happening?" she asked. Dr. Leanne looked concerned. "Their engine is failing again." "Thought it was fixed, but their ship is older than we knew. We need to help them," Ilara said. The team quickly sent engineers over to the Valari ship. Ilara joined them. She moved through the narrow halls of the Valari ship, helping check power lines and cooling systems. The Valari children watched quietly as the humans worked. Tenna, the young Valari engineer, walked with Ilara. "We thank you," Tenna said. "Your machines are so strong. You fix things fast." Ilara smiled. "We try our best. We're learning." From you two, together, they found the problem. A broken part deep in the engine room was leaking energy. It couldn't be fixed with Valari tools. But the Hope Seeker had something better. Captain Harrow sent a replacement part from their storage. It was not made for Valari engines, but the human engineers adjusted it. After many hours of hard work, the Valari ship was safe again. When the engines restarted, a gentle hum filled the ship, smooth and steady. Everyone cheered. Tenna clapped his hands, which made a quiet ringing sound. "Your help is like light in the dark," he said. Back on the Hope Seeker, the crew rested. Ilara sat in the small garden area, watching her sunflower bend gently under the artificial lights. She thought about how close they had come to losing the Valari. It made her feel both thankful and careful. A few days later, the planet New Arcadia came into view. It was a bright world, full of blue oceans and green lands. Small cities rested along rivers and hills. The human colony was peaceful and simple, with room to grow. Ilara looked at the screen and smiled. "It's beautiful." The Valari ship stayed in orbit while Captain Harrow contacted the colony leaders. There was a short delay, then a reply. A man named Governor Wells appeared on the screen. He had a calm face and kind eyes. "We've heard your message," he said. "You say they are peaceful?" Captain Harrow nodded. "Yes, they've lost their home. They ask only for a place to live." Governor Wells thought for a moment. "New Arcadia is still young. We have open land. They are willing to help. Build and learn our ways? They are welcome." Sira heard the message and bowed his head deeply. "We will learn. We will share. We are thankful." The Valari ship slowly landed on a wide, grassy plain not far from the colony. As the hatch opened, the Valari stepped out, one by one. They looked at the sky, at the grass, the air. Some of them cried. The humans from the colony stood nearby, watching with curious eyes. A few children ran forward, not afraid. One little girl gave a small flower to a Valari elder. The elder smiled and placed the flower in her robe. Governor Wells walked to Sira and offered his hand. Sira looked at it, then gently placed his hand in the governor's. "You are home now," Governor Wells said. The days that followed were full of work. The humans helped the Valari build small homes. The Valari showed the humans how to grow crops in dry soil. They shared stories, music, and dreams. Elara stood on a hill one evening looking down at the new village. Children, both human and Valaria, were playing together. The air was filled with laughter. Captain Harrow joined her. "Think they'll do well here?" he asked. Elara nodded. "I think they'll shine." The stars above twinkled as if they were watching. This was more than a rescue. It was the beginning of something new, something better. Two species, side by side, building a life together, and deep in Elara's heart. She knew this was what humanity was meant for, not just reaching the stars, but sharing them. Weeks passed on New Arcadia, and the Valari slowly became part of the colony. Their small village grew beside the human town, and soon there were paths connecting the two. Children from both groups played together in the fields. People shared food, tools, and stories. It felt like a new kind of family was forming. Elara loved walking through the village. Every day, she saw something different. Alari teaching a human child how to write in their language, or a group of humans learning how to play soft Valari music. It made her feel warm inside. One morning, Elara visited Sira in the new learning hall. It was a simple building made of wood and stone, with wide windows to let in the sunlight. "You seem busy," she said with a smile. Sira looked up from a table filled with books and scrolls. "We are writing down our stories so they are not lost. Our past was taken from us, but we will not forget." Elara sat across from him. "Do you miss your home?" Sira nodded slowly. "Yes, but this place is kind. And your people have hearts like stars bright in the darkness." Elara didn't speak for a moment. She understood that kind of pain. Even with hope, losing something so big was not easy. Just then, Captain Harrow called Elara on her communicator. "We have a small problem at the East Greenhouse. Can you take a look?" Lara stood. "Duty calls," she said to Sarah. "Be safe." Sira replied with a soft smile. Elara reached the greenhouse quickly. It was a large dome where earth plants were grown in special soil. A group of humans and Valari worked there together, growing food for both communities. Inside, Dr. Leanne was checking a group of plants that had started to wilt. "They're getting too much heat," she said. "Something is wrong with the climate system." Lara walked over to the control panel. The readings were strange. The cooling system wasn't working properly. She tapped a few buttons and checked the wiring. After a few minutes, she found the problem: a loose connection behind the panel. "It's a simple fix," she said. "I'll handle it." As she worked, a young Valari named Vera walked up. She was quiet and gentle, always curious about Earth's technology. "Can I watch?" Vera asked. Elara smiled. "Of course. Come closer." She explained each step as she worked, showing Vera how to check the wires and fix the connectors. "You learned fast," Elara said. Vera nodded. "The machines are strong but need care, like gardens." Elara laughed lightly. "Yes, that's true." After the system was fixed, the greenhouse began to cool down again. The plants slowly lifted their leaves. Vera touched a tall tomato plant and whispered something in her language. "What did you say?" Lara asked. "I said grow well in this new world," Vera replied. Later that day, the humans invited the Valari to a special gathering in the main hall. It was the colony's yearly celebration of peace and new beginnings. This year, the Valari were guests of honor. Tables were filled with food. Lights hung from trees. Music played softly in the background. Governor Wells stood at the front and raised his voice. "This year, we celebrate not just our own journey, but the beginning of a shared future. Let us welcome our new friends with open hearts." Sira stepped forward and spoke in careful English. "We thank you. Your world gave us light when ours fell into shadow. We will never forget." The crowd clapped, and smiles were everywhere. Children danced. Old friends laughed. For the first time in a long time, the Valari felt joy again. Elara sat with Tenna and Vera under a tall glowing tree. "You've made this place feel like home," Lara said. Tenna looked around. "Home is not just a place, It is people who care. Just then, a bright light appeared in the sky. Everyone looked up. A small object was moving quickly above the horizon. "What is that?" someone asked. Alara and Captain Harrow stepped forward. "Checking their scanners? It's a ship," Harrow said. "But not one of ours." The celebration paused. The music stopped. People stared at the strange ship as it passed silently over the village, then disappeared behind the hills. Ilara's heart beat faster. Captain Harrow's face was serious. "Let's stay calm. It might be passing by." But Sira looked troubled. "That ship, it did not belong to Earth, and it was not ours." Vera held Ilara's arm tightly. "Do you think they followed us?" Ilara looked at the sky. The stars were still shining, calm and distant, but something inside her whispered that the peace might be tested. She stood slowly. "Whatever happens," she said, "we'll face it together." And in that quiet moment, the humans and the Volari knew they were not just neighbors now. They were one people, bound by hope and ready for whatever came next. The sky was calm again, but the people of New Arcadia were not. Ever since the strange ship flew over the village, something had changed. The celebration ended early. Now the children were taken home. The lights were turned off. The smiles faded. Alara stayed up late that night, sitting near the window of her small cabin. Her sunflower stood by the light, as always turning toward it. But Alara's eyes were focused on the stars. She couldn't stop thinking about the ship. Captain Harrow called a meeting the next morning. Everyone from the Hope Seeker and leaders from the colony joined in the main hall. Sira and a few Volari elders came too. "We scanned the sky all night," Captain Harrow said. "The ship didn't return. We don't know who they were, but we must prepare just in case." Governor Wells nodded. "The colony has defense shields, but they were never tested like this. We need to make sure everyone is ready." Sira stepped forward. "We believe the ship may be from those who hunted us." They never spoke. They only followed and destroyed. "If they found us again?" He didn't finish his sentence. He didn't have to. Everyone understood. Dr. Leanne raised her hand. "Even if it was just a scout, others may come. We need early warning systems. We need to work fast." And so they did. In the days that followed, humans and Volari worked side by side to build better sensors, repair old satellites, and improve the colonies. Shields. It wasn't for war, it was for safety. Everyone wanted peace, but they also wanted to be ready. Ilara helped set up long-range scanners near the hills. Vera worked with her, learning how to connect wires and adjust energy settings. "I used to fix gardens," Vera said. "Now I help build skywatchers." Lara smiled. "Both jobs protect life, just in different ways." Back in the village, the Volari children continued to play, but their games were quieter. Their drawings now showed stars, ships, and a tall tree with wide roots. It was a Volari symbol of safety and hope. One night, while checking sensor data, Lara found something strange. A new signal. It was very weak, just a soft pulse, like a quiet knock on a faraway door. She called Captain Harrow right away. "It's not one of ours," she said. "And it's not Volari either, but it's steady, like a code." Harrow listened carefully. "Can you trace it?" "I'm trying," Alara said. It took hours, but finally the computer showed a location. It wasn't far, just beyond the inn. Colonies, mountains, in a quiet valley that no one had visited in years. The captain looked at the team. "We need to see what it is." The next morning, a small group left for the valley. Ilara, Captain Harrow, Dr. Leon, Sira, and Colony. Guards rode in a land cruiser. The journey took hours through rocky paths and thick trees. When they reached the valley, found something surprising. A small machine, old, dusty, and half covered by plants. It looked like a beacon placed there long ago, blinked slowly. Sending the same soft signal Alara had found, Dr. Leon knelt beside it. "It's not Earth tech, but it's not Velari either." Sira stepped closer. His face was calm, but curious. "This is very old. I've seen drawings of something like this. My ancestors called it a sky marker. It means a place was safe, or that someone was watching." Ilara looked around. Who put it here? The beacon was quiet, but the signal kept going. Looked dangerous, but it raised more questions than answers. Captain Harrow called the colony. We found the source. No threat, but definitely alien. They decided to take the beacon back to the lab for study. That night, while everyone rested, Ilara sat with Sira near the garden. Do you think we're being watched? She asked. Sira looked at the stars. Maybe, but watching is not always bad. Some eyes look with care, not with harm. Lara nodded slowly. I just want everyone to feel safe again. You gave us safety, Sarah said. Now, we must share it with others, even if we do not understand them yet. The next day, the signal stopped. The beacon turned off on its own, without warning. No one knew why, but it left something behind. A small, shining stone hidden inside the machine. It was smooth, warm, and glowed softly with a blue light. Vera held it in her hand. It feels kind. Dr. Leanne studied it. It's not a power source, it's more like a message, a peaceful one. Ilara stared at the glowing stone. Maybe it means we're not alone. Maybe not everyone out there is a threat. For the first time in days, her heart felt lighter. New Arcadia was still. Peaceful. The stars still shined. And though questions remained, so did hope. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Asterisk life slowly returned to normal in New Arcadia. The mysterious ship had not come back. The signal beacon had gone silent, and the glowing stone sat safely. In the colony's lab, where scientists studied it gently, hoping to learn more. But even with peace returning, something had changed inside the people, both human and Valari. They were more alert, more thoughtful. They knew the stars held wonders, but also questions. Ilara spent her mornings in the lab and her evenings in the fields, where human and Valari children played. She liked hearing their laughter. It reminded her why they came to bring light to others. It's not fear. One bright afternoon, she walked with Vera to the garden where they had first fixed the cooling system. The plants were strong now, full of color and fruit. Look, Vera said, pointing to a tall green vine. It grew faster than we thought. Ilara smiled. Just like us. Vera touched a soft blue flower. I never thought we'd find peace again, but you gave it to us. Ilara shook her head gently. Gave it to each other? Just then, her communicator beeped. Ilara, please report to the command center, Captain Harrow's voice said. She and Vera hurried across the colony grounds. When they arrived, the room was full. Dr. Leanne, Sira, Governor Wells, and a few engineers stood around a large screen. Captain Harrow turned to them. We picked up a new signal. It's coming from deep space. Outside our solar system, Ilara stepped forward. Is it a threat? Dr. Leon shook her head. No, it's not like the last one. This one is peaceful. Gentle tones, slow rhythm. Almost like a song. Sira's eyes widened. That is how my people used to send messages of peace before the old days. Signal like a melody. Everyone listened closely. The sound filled the room, soft waves of tone, rising and falling like music. It was calm, almost comforting. Can we trace it? Ilara asked. We already did, said Harrow. It's coming from a nearby star system, not too far. Days at high speed. The room grew quiet. Do we go? Governor Wells asked. Sira stepped forward. I believe we must. Someone is calling out with kindness. We should answer. Just as you answered us, Lara nodded. It could be someone else in need, or someone trying to meet us. Captain Harrow looked around the room. We'll send a small team. Volunteers only. The Hope Seeker is ready. Lara raised her hand. I'll go. Vera stepped up beside her. Me too. Harrow smiled slightly. Very well. We leave at sunrise. The next morning, the Hope Seeker lifted into the sky once again. This time, it carried Ilara, Vera, Dr. Leanne, Sira, and a small group of scientists and pilots. Journey felt familiar, but this time the mission was different. They were not going to rescue, they were going to connect inside the ship. Vera looked out the window. I wonder who they are, she whispered. Lara sat beside her. Whoever they are, we'll meet them as friends. After 2 days of travel, they reached the edge of the star system. A small blue planet came into view, surrounded by glowing rings and moons. But there were no cities, no ships, no signs of life on the surface. Yet the signal was stronger, now clearer, richer, like a song growing closer. Dr. Leanne gasped. It's coming from that moon. The ship changed course and slowly landed on the quiet moon. The team stepped out in light suits. The ground was smooth and silver. Strange flowers grew in patterns across the surface. Glowing faintly in the pale light, in the center of a wide field stood a tall structure made of glass and stone. It hummed gently, the source of the signal. It's beautiful, Vera whispered. They walked closer. The structure began to light up as they approached. A soft voice, not in any language they knew, echoed around them. But they felt no fear and peace suddenly. The stone in Dr. Leanne's hand taken from the old beacon began to glow. It's reacting, she said. The structure responded. The tones changed. A soft image appeared in the air above them, and an image of many species standing together under the stars. Ilara stared in awe. It's a message, a memory, a dream. Sira nodded slowly. This place is old, very old. Maybe it was made long before us, by those who wanted peace. The image faded, and the signal stopped. But a new one started, a message in simple symbols. It showed a map, a list of symbols for species, and a small star blinking brightly at the edge. That's us, Ilara whispered. Doda. Structure had not only welcomed them, it had marked them as part of something bigger. A network. A promise of unity. Back on the ship, the team sat together in quiet thought. This journey was not just for answers, Sira said. It was an invitation. Ilara smiled, and we accepted it. As the Hope Seeker turned toward home, the stars around them shimmered like candles. Somewhere out there, others were listening, to others waiting to be found, not with weapons, but with hope. The journey back to New Arcadia felt different. The crew of the Hope Seeker was quiet, but full of hope. They had discovered more than just a signal or a beacon. They had found proof that kindness and friendship could stretch across the stars. Ilara looked out the window at the endless black space dotted with stars. She thought about the image they had seen, the many species standing together beneath the stars. It was like a dream come true, a vision of peace and unity that felt almost real. Sira stood beside her, watching the same view. I never imagined that others would want peace as much as we do, he said softly. Ilara smiled. Sometimes, hope is the strongest power there is. Back on New Arcadia, the news of their discovery spread quickly. The colony gathered in the main hall to hear the story from the explorers. Governor Wells spoke first. This discovery changes everything, he said. It shows that we are not alone, that others have reached for friendship before us. It is a chance to join something greater. Sira stood with the Valari elders. We come from a people who have lost much, but we have not lost hope. Now we see that hope is shared. Lara stepped forward and told them about the glowing structure on the moon and the message of unity they had found. Children listened wide-eyed. Adults nodded thoughtfully. After the meeting, Ilara visited the garden where the children played. Vera was there, teaching a group of human and Valari children a simple song they had learned from the signal, a melody of peace. Ilara sat on a bench and watched the happy faces. It was moments like this that reminded her why they worked so hard. Suddenly her communicator beeped. It was Captain Harrow. Ilara, come to the command center, he said. She stood and hurried to the center, where the team was gathered around. A large screen, the sensors had picked up a new signal this time. It was coming from a ship approaching New Arcadia. The ship was large, but unlike anything they had seen before. It was covered in smooth, shining plates that reflected the light of the colony's sun. Its shape was graceful, almost like a living thing. Governor Wells spoke calmly. We do not know if they are friend or foe. Sierra looked at the screen and said, we must be ready, but we must also be welcoming. It may be another chance for friendship. Captain Harrow nodded. All stations, prepare for contact. Let's show them who we are. The ship moved slowly toward the colony. As it came closer, small windows lit up along its side. Lights blinked in patterns, like a greeting. A docking request came through. The crew prepared to welcome their visitors. When the hatch opened, beings stepped out. Were tall and elegant, with smooth skin that shimmered softly in the sunlight. Their eyes were bright, full of curiosity and calm. They spoke in a voice that was gentle and clear. "We are the Elysians. We received your signal of peace. We have come to meet you." Eller stepped forward with Sira and Captain Harrow. "Welcome to New Arcadia," she said warmly. The Elysians smiled and looked around. "Your home is beautiful. We have traveled far to find others who seek friendship." The next days were filled with learning and sharing. The Elysians showed the humans in Valari new technology ways to grow food with less water, methods to clean the air, and tools to build stronger homes. In return, humans taught the Elysians about their music, their stories, and the simple joys of living under open skies. Ilara worked closely with Vera and a young Elysian named Lyra. Together, they built a small garden where all three species planted seeds. It was a symbol of their new friendship, different roots growing side by side in the same soil. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, the three stood together, watching the sky turn pink and gold. Lyra spoke softly. "This is only the beginning. Many others are out there. Like us, they want to find peace." Ilara nodded. "We will help them find it, together." Sira smiled. The stars are no longer so lonely. As night fell, the colony was alive with hope. The children played beneath the stars. The elders told stories of old and new. Ilara looked up and thought about the long journey that had brought them here. From a lonely signal in the dark to a gathering of friends across the galaxy, she knew challenges would come. But for now, she felt sure of one thing. Humanity's light was shining bright, and it was lighting the way for others to follow. Asterisk. The morning sun bathed New Arcadia in a warm golden light. The colony was alive with activity, but there was a new energy in the air, feeling of excitement and possibility that stretched beyond the familiar fields and hills. Ilara stood on a small hill overlooking the village. Beside her were Sira and Lyra, representing the Valarian Elysians. Together they looked at the horizon, where the sky met the land in a perfect line. "This is our home now," Sira said softly. "A place where many worlds come together." Lara smiled. "And it's just the beginning. We've already made friends, and I believe there are more out there waiting." Lyra nodded. "The galaxy is full of stories like ours. Some are waiting to be told. Some are waiting for a helping hand." As they spoke, a message arrived from Earth. The Council had approved a plan to create a new organization, one dedicated to peace, exploration, and friendship across the stars. Humans, Valari, Elysians, and soon others would work side by side. Ilara felt a deep pride. Humanity had come a long way from a world focused only on itself to a light, shining in the darkness for others to follow. The day's work began with laughter and cooperation. Humans helped Valari build new homes, while Elysians shared knowledge about clean energy. Children of all three species played together. Learning new games and sharing stories, Ilara visited the garden they had planted together. The plants were growing strong and healthy, a symbol of life and hope. Suddenly, soft beeps sounded from her communicator. "Ilara, please come to the command center," Captain Harrow's voice said. She hurried inside, where the team was gathered around a large screen. A new signal was coming in this time. It was a message from far beyond New Arcadia. The words were simple, but full of hope. "We see your light. We hear your song. We come in friendship." The room filled with silence. Then Governor Wells spoke. "This is the moment we dreamed of. It's the moment when the stars opened their arms to us all." Sira looked at Ilara. "Your courage brought us here. Your kindness gave us hope." Ilara felt her heart swell. "We are all connected now, not by fear, but by trust." Lyra added, "And as we grow, we will bring that trust to others. The galaxy is wide, but our hearts are wider." Outside, the sky was brightening with the first light of dawn. The three friends stood together, ready for the future. They knew the journey ahead would have challenges. There would be mysteries to solve and differences to understand. But they also knew that together they could face anything. Because when kindness leads the way, even the darkest stars can shine, and humanity's light would shine the brightest of all.